you.
You know, it's just my icebreaker speech.
That's fine too. So, I'm actually, it's always a great meeting when we have an icebreaker speech. And we also, not just an icebreaker, but Pathways is the new educational program that Toastmasters rolled out this year. So Fong's actually doing his icebreaker from the new program of Pathways. So very happy that he volunteered to jump in and do that for us today. He actually wanted to do 2 roles today, so excellent. So thank you so much. So without any further ado, please help me welcome with his icebreaker speech, Fong Nguyen.
Picture this, your worst nightmare. A room full of cameras staring at you. Inches from your face, your palms are sweating, your heart is racing. Now take your worst nightmare and multiply this 5 million times for the 5 million viewers that are watching you deliver your presentation or speech. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, distinguished guests, this is how I feel every time I have to get up and give a speech or presentation. And this is why I joined Toastmasters. Now you're probably thinking that I'm going to stand up here and talk about myself for 5 minutes, but that would be very selfish of me. Instead, I would rather give you all something of value, something that you can apply, something that you can use and become more successful. Let me ask, how many of you here have ever been in a boardroom meeting or any type of meeting? We all have, right? So I used to be in the tech industry for about 10 years, and I've been to hundreds and hundreds of boardroom meetings. And there's one thing that's very interesting. Did you know that there is a social and psychological aspect to where you sit in a boardroom meeting? And where you decide to sit at the table says a lot about you. For example, let's pretend that I'm the CEO of PEMCO Insurance, Stan McNaughton, sitting right here at the head of the table with all of you. There's a reason why they call this the head of the table. And the reason why is, where does the head of the household usually sit? Or the boss, right? Right here. This is the most dominant power position in the boardroom. There's nobody to your left, there's nobody to your right. The focus and attention is always right here. Now, as the CEO of Anna's Home Furnishings, I prefer to sit right here in the middle of the table because this allows me to engage with my team. It allows me to immerse myself with everyone. And it gives everybody the perception that we're all on the same level, right? It's almost as if it's like a group huddle. I'll give you one example of why it's extremely important to strategically pick where you sit in a meeting. Here's a picture of Mark Zuckerberg giving his testimony on Capitol Hill. Right? He's got his 2 attorneys, one on the left, one on the right. Now, if you want to be like the boss, you sit next to the boss. You dress like the boss. You look like a boss. You are a boss. Now, Miss Sleeping Beauty over here, sitting on the other side of them, clearly she did not get enough sleep last night. During the whole 5-hour trial, I lost track of how many times she yawned. It looked like she was about to pass out and fall asleep at any minute. Right? So remember, it's extremely important to choose your seat wisely because it dictates how people perceive you. Right? There's some situations where you'll go into a boardroom and you'll want to be adversarial or initiate confrontation. So let's pretend that I'm Donald Trump and you wanted to tell me how to do my job correctly. Where would you sit? Exactly, right there, right across, face to face, right? Eye to eye. It's very direct, very confrontational, very adversarial. Now, conversely, if you wanted to have a friendly conversation or avoid confrontation, where would you sit? Maybe it's slightly off to the right or slightly off to the left, or maybe back here so that you could sleep, like Miss Sleeping Beauty here, right? And believe me, I've seen people do that in a boardroom meeting. It doesn't surprise me. So the next time you step into a meeting, take a minute. Think about what it is you want to achieve in that meeting. Choose your seat wisely, because it could make the difference between getting your next promotion, getting your message across successfully, or getting fired. And if you do get fired and you choose the wrong seat, just remember one thing. Anna's Home Furnishings is always hiring. Final
So Carol, can we have 1 minute on the clock? And if you'd like to, can write some, evaluate some notes for Bob, so we'll be back on the stage today for that 1 minute.
And if you do get fired and you choose the wrong seat, just remember one thing. Anna's Home Furnishings is always hiring. Final